Hello everybody, welcome to the UKSS Dhaham Battle Racing League. This is round 7 and we are in Italy. For today's format we are gonna have only 100% race with the grid set with the reverse grid championship point. And so let's have a look at the standings while the drivers are loading. This is how the driver standings and the constructor standings looks like at the end of round 6, which was held in Monaco, with Mr. Gibro who has quite a nice lead on Nicolas Boita, the Brazilian driver who is racing for the Alpine team. But we will have a look at the standings further, because now we really need to switch to the race, waiting for Barks, Vumax and Get the Money on Run to load. So hello everybody. Truxton. Hello everybody. To This is round 7 of Division 1 of the UKSS Dhaham Battle Racing League. Already some fans of Simo in the chat as we're waiting Vumax and Get the Money on Run to load. And then, as I said, we will go through a reverse grid per championship points that set the starts of the 100% race here in Monza. So while they are loading, why don't we have a closer look to the standings? So Mr. Dibro is the one who is leading the pack with 72 points. Nicolas Boita second with 58, just 3 points behind him. Shark in the Red Bull, followed by Jules in the McLaren with 53, who had a really bad race in Monaco and didn't manage to score any point whatsoever. Then Barks Little Hood, who is having a banger of a championship at the moment in P5, just 8 points behind Nicolas, who is in second place. And then we have Dragster in the Mercedes with 46, who is putting really good performances at the moment. And then we have Warren with 40, Marcy with 40 as well, and then a closer part of the field with Vumax, Z Power, Eisenberg, Last Duck, Sandman, Simapaz, all between 30 and 40 points. So I think we might need to restart the session since it's frozen. Yeah, we will restart the race and also the session because there are some issue. The lobby is frozen, so we're gonna wait to get the new lobby. So let's see. Yeah, Barks is. I'm gonna show you what is happening at the moment on screen. So everybody is leaving the session at the moment. So we can have a look at the rest of the standings while the lobby will be updated. So we were saying a big amount of drivers among 30 to 40 points, and then we have Real Staravia with 27, Clay with 26, Mooman with 23, Get the Money on Run with 22, Tibran 12, as Brook Little Hood, Snaggletooth with 10, Girocco 9, Zapijaja 8, Moti Paris 2, and completing we have Arcus Monte with 1 point. We have then the constructor standings, where Red Bull is leading the pack with 129 points, followed by Alpine and McLaren and Mercedes all fight together. Alpine has 110 points, McLaren 109, Mercedes 107, and then we have um, another close gap between Aston Martin and Ferrari, which Aston Martin really bounced forward in the incredible result of Ristaravio. They had a race with 13 points, and also with 13 points from Ristaravio. Ferrari with 91 have lost some points here and there in these last couple of races. Williams and Alfa Romeo that has not scored point last race in Monaco, and so that did AlphaTauri and Lamborghini. Finally, we have the Haas in 10th place with 34 points. So they are making the new lobby, as you can hear by the music coming in the main menu, waiting for obviously waiting for the invite. So let me present you how we're gonna have the reverse grid. Why not? Moti Paris, good luck lads. Thank you, Moti. In a very brief moment we're gonna have the lobby, and hopefully we're gonna race soon. We want to see some action here in Monza, which as always provide some very big events in every league, and I hope it's gonna be the case even today. So let me try to get this. So there isn't really much we can have a look at. I can, okay, still no lobby at the moment. So for this race, me and Barks managed to put together some really good graphic. As you can tell, we have a stripe all to the side where there is the name of our league, UKSS Dachau Battle Racing League, with our main and only sponsor, UKSS.com. You should have a look. In the meantime, Sabusa 13, Albetal Crash, Zabijaka, right? So, since it's an 100% race, as I always say in these races, the consistency is key. You really want to try to get to the line without crashing or losing the car anytime whatsoever, even if your race pace is lower than what you can achieve. Then the performance will be so much better. Race after race you will get faster and faster and surely more confident. So as I was saying, we have managed many graphics on, many I won't spoil you right now. I want to give them later on. You will see during the race. So, also we need to keep in mind one really important thing, of course, that we have a battle for a places, or I should say more than one place, more than one seat going on today, because in today's race we're gonna have Sandman, Rails and Simopaz fighting for the top seat, the Mercedes seat, and also we're gonna have Aston Martin and AlphaTauri seat. Whoever managed to do the best result today among the three of them, so we have said Simopaz, Simopaz, Sandman and Rails will get the Mercedes seat. Otherwise, the second get the best result will go to Aston, and the third gets AlphaTauri seat. So I'm gonna need a brief moment because my PS4 just shut down, so sadly the invite came, but my PS4 decides to shut down completely. But by the time we're gonna get to the stream, it's gonna be fine. We will manage to be back in the lobby very soon.
So, just give us a minute and we will be there. I'm gonna pop up this lobby and make myself for the time being.
So here we are, back with the game. Just gonna try to get the invite now, because here my PlayStation completely shut off, but no, it's okay. I'm joining the session, and hopefully we can go racing very soon. Now Barks is gonna set up the lobby, surely. So finally we will go racing very soon. In the meantime, I'm gonna tell you what the the grid will be for today's race. As I said, it's gonna be a reverse grid points per championship based on overall standing. Sorry, an overall standing, not per points for championship. So we have Zabjaka, who's gonna start from pole, alongside him Snaggletooth, then Tibran and Get the Money on run in the second row, Mooman and Clay racing in the third row, Power and Vumax in the fourth row, Marcy and Warren complete the top 10. Then we have Truckster and Barks in 11 and 12 places, Jules Dershark in 13 and 14. We will have Nicolas Boita and Mr. Dubro in 15 and 16 place, and then Ritharavio, Simopeds, Sandman and Potro. Ritharavio, Simopeds and Potro does belong to these places and not farther up because they didn't do more than 50 races, they did less, so they're starting in the back of the grid, and Sandman is starting P19 because of a red card. And hopefully, in a very brief moment, we will go racing. Two people are riding for. At the end of the day, I like this music on the menu, even if it's really loud. Tell me in the chat what you think about it.
Good luck. Good luck.
So let's mute everyone. Let's make sure this is off. Just give me a second, I'll join a party, whatever, any party whatsoever, so that I'm gonna be alone with no audio returning in your headphones, so that you will have a clear audio. So here we are finally for Italy. This is round 7. Music is so fucking loud. Do you want? Sorry, I can't swear here on Twitch. You made me do that. So I'm gonna just drop it a little bit lower. Let me know if it's alright. So here we are waiting for the players. Now they are on the grid. They are putting their setups on. They are choosing the strategy, because you can start with whatever tires you want to use, since we hadn't qualifying, and we are starting with a reverse grid. But finally we are going on. We are racing here in Monza. In the real life they drove 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that, and it was a really good show. So I think, and I hope also, that we're gonna have a really interesting race also here. So as I was saying, the pole sitter for this race is Sabijaka, alongside him Snaggletooth. Then we have Tibran, Get the Money on Run, Booman, Clay, Deepower, Vumax, Marcy and Warren complete the top 10. Truckster, Barks, Jules Dershark, Nicolas Boita and Mr. Debro. Reels, Simopez, Sandman and Potro completing the grid. So let's put the full map grid, the telemetry on. And also, why don't we have a look at the tires choice. Half of the field is on softs, half of the field is on mediums. Only Potro is one taking the gamble on the hard tire. Zabijaka, the pole sitter, is on the medium, while Snaggletooth on alongside him on the front row is gonna start on soft. So we're gonna have a really interesting battle going into turn 1 at the very first lap. We're gonna have 53 laps today, and so hopefully they're gonna provide us a very good show. Let's stay on board with Zabijaka for the hand of this formation lap, and that's where the AI take control of your cars, and then you're gonna see anyone lining up to the correct grid spot. Poitro is still at the end of a scar chicane, so we're gonna wait for him, as he needs really to put it into those R tires. It really takes 2 or 3 laps to get them up to temperature. So we can switch to the broadcast, and also let's put position changes here, and let's wait for the start of round 7 of Division 1 of the UK SS Vaham Beth Racing League. Let's stay on board with Snaggletooth while we're waiting for the green flag to show up. Also, it doesn't give me a view of of the lights. Still not, we're not having a green flag. Maybe there is a problem, an issue with the session. Zabijaka has left the session. The pole sitter has just left the session, so let's wait. Let's see what is happening. Still nothing. Nicolas Bota is shown first, but he's in P15, but this is a problem of the standings that always show up in the very first races. So Fred is bugged, you say. Okay, now he's back in P15, and now 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 light, and away we go for round 7 here in Italy. Let's stay on board with Zabijaka, who is having a really bad start. Alongside him, Tibran got a very nice start, going up in P1 from P4. The As is leading the way. Behind, it's a clean start at the moment. No one has lost the car yet. From what I've seen, there is a Mercedes ghosting through turn 2. What is happening at the moment? Vumax has lost an incredible amount of places, 12 places already, while Woman also has lost 4 with Barks who from P12 has gone up to 8. An amazing start from him, and so for Warren up to 5th place from 10th on the grid with soft tires, giving the launch that he desperately trying to have. Clay Racing is gonna try to overtake Zabijaka, who is disconnected here on the back straight, and Clay managed to get P2 on his teammates, who is disconnected. The pole sitter is disconnected at the moment, but we have Snaggletooth that is coming closer. He went from P2 down to 3rd, but he has a really big gap behind, while Get the Money Around just overtook Warren at the exit of a Scary chicane, and is losing places by that. Barks and Dershak managed to work their way up the field, and now Dershak's trying to go down the inside of Barks. Get the Money Around going a little bit wide, just too much, because Dershak now went from P8 to P5, and Barks is gonna have an incredible slipstream, using the energy, switching to the right side of the track, taking a little bit of the slipstream, is surely gonna try to go down inside of the Red Bull here, but Dershak breaks enough late to keep the place on him and get the money around 6 in P7, but gets a really bad exit, squashing his car. And now Deep Power is gonna try to have a lunge on him of the Alpha Tauri. He's trying to go down inside, get a money around, sticks to the racing line, and nothing has happened. Oh, who's that? Who's that? Snaggletooth lost an incredible amount of places. He completely missed the braking zone going into the La Roja chicane and lost 10 places. He was 4th at that moment, and now it's in P17 and also got a second time penalty for cutting the chicane. What is happening? Ooh, Barks is overtaking Sabishaka, but he's not ghosted, but he's not racing. Ooh, and Deep Power going down inside here in the Scary with the money around and force him off, and now get a money around. Surely lost his front wing, but that was a mistake from Deep Power, who is now overtaking Sabishaka. That was, maybe he didn't see him, but that was not fair at all. So Tibran, at the end of lap 3, is leading the way in P1, 1.8 seconds clear of Clay, who is in P2 and has gained 4 places at the start. What an amazing start from Dirt Shark, from P14 up to 3rd, followed by Barks from P12 up to P4. Amazing start for him. And so for Sandman, from P19 back there with the mediums as well, managed to get into the top 5, followed closely by Deep Power, who has also gained a place. And now Zabishaka is going down the order so much. I hope he's gonna rejoin soon. The invite is on the chat as well, so he can rejoin if he managed to. Nicolas Boita, in the meantime, the driver who is second in the championship, is dead last in P12. What has happened to him? Well, Simopets is also on his way, and why don't we put a little graphic here of Simopets driving his Ferrari, trying to get his seat on the Mercedes. His incredible first guide of the Mercedes, because he's the season 1 champion. As you can tell, wrote in a little description of the Ferrari driver. He is an engineer in his home. Simopez, number 78. Credit to his dad, giving him the information he needed by this stream. So let's have a look at the tire. So T-Burn is consistently 1.7 seconds ahead of Clay, and I wonder if Dershak has managed to gain some time whatsoever to Clay. Also Barks is surely losing some time because he has to defend from Sandman behind. Sandman is kind skidding to the Scar, and now Simopets is gonna try to go around the outside of Deep Power. Is he gonna make it? No, because Deep Power is using his energy. Got a money around 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Now we have Simopets with the DRS and energy, who's gonna try to make a move on Deep Power, and he has already overtaken the Aston Martin before the braking zone, and Simopets is comfortably up to P6. Clay is now closing in on Tibran. The Alfa Romeo driver is in P2, the number 30. As you can tell from the screen, he's just an 11 years old, so he's surely a prodigy of this game. In fact, he is the youngest league driver, as you can read. And he has so much time to work on. This league will be on for such a long time, thanks to Barks. And so Booster, you can join. I'm gonna try to invite you right now. I'm gonna see what I can do. Let me see if I can manage to invite you. Please write me your WebS completely. Oh no, my PlayStation completely blocked. It's stuck. I can't move anything. Okay, here I am back. Sorry for that inconvenience. Hopefully it's working. It's not working. Okay, now it's working, and we can see Clay fighting for the lead against Tibran, going down inside on a scour chicane, and Tibran has to give up the position on Clay. And so now the AS driver who was leading from the first lap till this sixth lap has now lost the place on Clay, but surely is gonna try to regain the lead on the Alfa Romeo on the very next straight, while Dershak is closing in, and also Sandman managed to move on Barks into Hood. Let's see Clay going on the racing line. Tibran goes down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. The AS drivers managed to put the nose in front of him. It's almost like Verstappen and Hamilton. But Tibran's regained the lead, and now Clay is gonna try with the rest of his energy to get the place back on the AS. Let's see, he's gonna try, surely gonna try to go down the inside here, and he's doing it. They are going wheel to wheel, and Tibran goes a little bit too wide and give the place to Clay Racing. And now Dershak has managed to get the place on him. Sorry, it's Sebastian, I can't invite you because otherwise my game completely freeze. I tried before, but it completely froze the game. Sorry. So Dershak is now closing in on him. He's on softs, so he's trying to break away from Sandman, the Mercedes, who started P19 and is now up to third, while these three are fighting as hell, as hard as hell. Tibran regains the lead on Clay on the very next straight. Clay goes offensive. Dershak tries to go around the outside here on turn 1 and managed to do so. It's gonna have enough space. He doesn't. He almost spins round of turn 2 at the exit of turn 2, and Clay keeps his place with brute force, and now Dershak is sitting in P3 waiting for another straight, almost going into the back of Clay, missing completely in the braking point here at the La Roja chicane. Also, I wonder what is happening with Nicolas Boita, who has already been lapped. We're on lap 8 and he's already been lapped, but he's looking like he's driving quick, at least not as quick as the leader. Maybe I was already stopped. Let's see. He didn't. The drivers who has already stopped are Get Money Around, Trackster, Muma and Warren. So a very tense fight here for the lead, but also let's have a look at Mr. Debro fighting with Vumex here for P8. There is an incredible train with Vumex, Marcy, Reels and Jules. Let's watch it from Jules' perspective. He's on P12, they're fighting all the way from P8. P12, while Sandman has overtaken T-Brown. T-Brown has he lost the car? He has! Going to turn 2 and fight with Clay. T-Brown has lost the car there, and he has lost 7 places. He was late in the race, and now he made contact with Clay, who is now back in P1, but he has also a penalty, while Rails is overtaking the Ferrari of Marcy, and a little bit further back we have Jules in the McLaren, who didn't manage to make a move on the Real Star Ravillo. Here is a yellow flag in sector 3. Who is that? I don't see anything from the minimap, but I can see Dershark is really close on Clay Racing. Let's watch him from the broadcast. Is P13 now. Nicholas is showing me as P20, but let's focus on Dershark trying to make a move on Clay, and he managed to go down inside. Is Clay gonna try to dive back? He can't do that because Dershark closed the door, shut the door, and now is in P1. The Red Bull driver has managed to overtake Clay and has a little bit a tiny gap then from Clay to Sandman, 3.4 seconds, but he's driving on the medium, and so the driver behind him as well, Simopets, in the Ferrari, and at the moment he looks like the candidate to get the Mercedes seat. Maybe you're right, maybe Nicholas is in P13, but the game show him as P20. Yeah, in fact he is P13 because he's just behind Jules. While there is a ooh, was that someone spinning? It was, maybe not. So Dershark complete the first lap as a leader on lap 10. The Red Bull driver managed to get an incredible start. Let's watch. Yeah, he managed to get 13 places from the start, from P14 up to first. Then Clay also from P6 up to second. Sandman and Simopets, they did a banger of a start. Sandman from P19 to a podium places, fighting with Simopets, was just one place ahead of him and is just one place behind him. Here at De La Rocha chicane, then we have Barks at Hood. Why don't we focus a little bit with Barks? Number 78, mid-40s from Huddersfield, and as you can read, Proud League founder and admin is doing such an amazing work. You can also join the Discord channel of the league if you want to participate in Division 1 or Division 2. You can candidate yourself to a seat, most likely Division 2. You can tell Barks has really put a step, one step forward every race in this season, because he's now the 5th in the Drivers' Championship and also 5th here in the race, and you can tell the consistency is the key for him. But while we're talking, Simopets has managed to get through Sandman, so now Simopets has overtook the Mercedes and managed to get into the podium places, 2.3 seconds behind Clay, who is on the Alfa Romeo. Oh, there is someone at the moment, because I saw a yellow flag going to Roger chicane. Maybe it was Sparks, maybe it was Sandman, we don't know. While T-Brown is trying to recover after the incident with Clay Racing going to turn 2 after he lost the car. and he lost also 6 places, but he's hanging on with the power in the DRS range and keeping Restaravio away. 4.1 second is the gap between him and Aston Martin driver. Almost having a moment there. It's really hard to get the car rolling nicely through the Ascari. Brown is gonna try to make a move here, but he doesn't have enough energy. Maybe just enough straight line speed with the DRS going down inside of the Aston Martin. Is he gonna make it? T-Burn sticks to the racing line, leaving some room on the outside, in the inside, but gets the better traction on the outer line, and so T-Burn managed to move back to P6, starting from P3, having a fight with Clay for the lead. And is now back into P6, overtaking back the Pava, while this fight only managed to help Real Star Video, who has now closed the gap from 4 seconds to 2.6, and we have Sandman closing in on Simopet. So let's see from this Ascari not having the best of time, the best of XU, and I saw some drops of rain. Is that correct? Yeah, I think there are some drops of rain in the track, unless I'm saying things. Definitely there is rain, and Clay's lost the car here at the Parabolica and lost 2 places from Simopets and Sandman, which are now in P2 and P3, but now Sandman may try to swap these places. Let's see from Clay perspective. Sandman goes around the outside of Simo, which is not gonna compromise his race and let the Mercedes go, but now it's gonna have a chance of overtaking. This is the lap where the cars want to be to go to intermediates. Maybe there are some swaps also in the standings on the left hand side. Maybe someone is spinning around. Looks clear at the moment. The crossover is gonna be in this lap, or in the next lap. We need to see what is gonna do, what Dershak, the leader, is gonna do, because the rain is intensifying. Tracksters overtook Potro, Simopets has overtook back Sandman. Going into this little back straight, so now the Ferrari is back ahead of the Mercedes. Simopets want to be ahead where the pit time comes. Let's see if Dershak is gonna box for a set of intermediates. He's carrying on. Let's see what Simopet's gonna do, while there is Potro, who has lost the car there. So everyone is continuing. Sandman tries to go around the outside once again with the DRS. Simopets is trying to hang on with the energy. Clay is trying to go down inside of both of them. Is he gonna make it? He won't make the corner. He's cut the corner at this moment, and so does need to give the place back to both of drivers. Is gonna give the place back to Simopets. He is, maybe no, maybe didn't want to, but Simopets get the best line and managed to get back into P3, while Sandman complete the overtake. And there are many drivers who are going into the pit. Let's see, D-Power and Zabishaka went to the intermediates. Let's see what they are doing. If they are gaining any time whatsoever, or they will trundle down the order. It doesn't look that fine to me. I don't think it's time to get to the intermediate yet. Well, there is a yellow flag going into the first sector. Okay, maybe the let's see, is he losing or gaining to Marcy? Is definitely losing, as he lost 0.5 of a second in just one corner, and in fact Dershak carrying on. He decides not to pit, and so did Sandman and Simopets, while Simopets is trying to go down inside here in turn 1. The condition gets sketchy. Oh, and Clay also managed to get down inside following Simopets around, and now Sandman have lost 2 places from Simopets and Clay. He went from crossing the line second and now doing the largest chicaning 4th place. Clay sticks to the racing line and Sandman decides to back off. Well, Deep Hover is really losing so much time. 3 seconds have lost, and now Clay is not doing the best of Lesmo. Lesmo corner, and Sandman managed to get the place back on the Alfa Romeo. What an amazing fight these guys are giving to us. Also, the penalty situation is gonna be massive. Let's see. Let's stay on board with Dirt Shark. Let's see if he's gonna pit. Oh, Jules has retired from the race, going in the end of the first Lesmo. He completely lost the car. There you can see that by the minimap, and shot the car into the wall. But let's go on board with Deep Power. Let's go on board with Deep Power to have a closer look of Jules' car, who is in the middle of the track, completely destroyed with debris all the way around. The Marshal will have a ton of work to do to get the car out of the way. Snuggles with 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. No one is going into the pit. These conditions are still not good enough to get to the intermediates, because you can tell that by Deep Power sectors. When he put the intermediates, he had 19 seconds to Mercy, and now the gap has gone up to 25 seconds. So when no one is really driving to their max potential, that's sure. Ooh, and there's a spin. I saw a spin, yeah, it was Snaggletooth, and he lost the car there. And is now retired, the 3rd retirement of the race. So also the Williams of Snaggletooth is out of the race. And also I lost Barks overtaking Clay. Maybe Clay lost the car too, and there's a yellow flag in sector 2. When Clay is completely retired, let's see, where is he? He completely missed the braking point. You can see there in the screen in the right side, he completely lost the car and broke the suspension. So the race leader, the driver, was leading this race from so many laps, completely destroyed his car, and now left the session while Sandman is trying to go down inside of Simobets in turn 1. He is leaving just enough space. And let's see if he's gonna try now to get the Ferrari. Maybe not. He doesn't have the pace to do so. Still yellow flag all over. Ooh, and Simobets almost having a moment there. Archer chicane, and Sandman! Big moment! He completely destroys his car, and now the Mercedes is out of the race. He shot his car into the wall. Broke the right suspension. He was too much committed on the... Oh, sorry, I forgot the shark ban on. Sorry. He was too committed on the throttle and now lost the car, and so Barks is now the driver in P3, while Potro is letting everyone goes. He's on the R tires. Not the best choice since there is this weather problem. I wonder if it's now the time for intermediate. Their shark is not coming in, but the track, the surface, is getting darker and darker, and also wetter and wetter. So I wonder if it's time to get to the intermediate. Let's see from Mr. Debro Gaps. It's now with 27.5 seconds, and I think this lap is gonna be the lap to pit for the intermediates. Now it's getting really too wet, and in fact Tibran goes into the pit, and so does Potro. Marcy decides to continue. Mr. Debro is already into the intermediates and looks fine. It really looks the correct choice at the moment. Still, maybe the performance of the two tires are more or less similar. but I think it's the time to switch to the intermediate compound. When Barks has lost the car! Barks has lost the car, the large chicane, and he lost two rails and lost the place on Race Television and Vumax. Let's see if he has damage to his front wing. Let's hear from the broadcast view. He doesn't, so maybe he just lost the car there. And you can tell this is even one more sign there, Shark, the leader. Crucially, the leader has also lost the car there. Does he have all his front wing? He does. Luckily for him, he didn't shut the suspension, but now the gaps that was 7 seconds is now 1 point. It's even lower than 1 second. Oh, and Simopet's almost having a moment, drifting all the way here, and DRS is disabled, and this is the final sign. It is the time for intermediate. It's time to get these wet tires. And so Dershark is going into the pit, so does Simo. Let's see if Dershark needs to change his front wing. He doesn't. He's only switching the tire. Let's see if he's gonna be held. He's not. Also Vumax going to the pit, so does Barks in 6th gear. Ooh, 5-second time penalty speeding in the pit lane. This is really a bad news for Barks. He couldn't manage to slow down the car with those tires, and Tibran on the intermediate, switching the lap before, has managed to get many drivers, and is now gonna get also Vumax on this braking zone, and he went from P1 to P7 back to P4, 2.5 seconds from Real Saravillo on his intermediate. Only Traxxer is the only driver who is still on a dry compound, and now it's gonna be a really good big fight between Dershark and Simopets to get the win of the Italian Grand Prix. What was the penalty? I lost the penalty. Crucially, I lost the penalty. Tibran has lost the car, and Vumax managed to overtake him, and now goes into the gravel, and Barks managed to get the place back on him. So Barks has come back in P5, but he has a 5-second time penalty. We will see if these intermediates can do 33 laps, but I think that it will be the case. Sabishaka left the session. So let's see, where is Nicolas Boita, because I can't see him, at least in the important standings. And the left side, do we have Reels? I don't. So Reels 9/10 of a second behind Vumax. With this weather, it's now another story, because you don't have ERS. You just only can provide and try to get the overtake with your ERS system and your abilities to get the best traction out of the corners. And Barks managed to get T-burn because of his mistake, and is trying to reduce the gap to Rails, and also to get T-burn in a 5-second gap that will allow him to keep his 5th place. But Tibran seems to have put the pace up, managed to get better laps consistently at the moment. Yellow flag is sector 1. Sabujaka goes fastest overall with 36 seconds. I don't think that it's true. Hopefully he's not gonna show this time as the fastest one. Ooh, and Simopets has arrived, as closing on Dershark is now only 8/10 of a second behind him, while Newman is letting lap himself. Braking really carefully here, the Ferrari, but the gap has gone a little bit up. Also, he has a penalty of 3 seconds. Marks as 5, Traxxer 3, and Pocher and Zabijaka have 6. let's why don't we stay on board with the championship leader, Mr. Debro, in his Red Bull. He's now the actual leader of the Drivers' Championship of Season 2, while the standings on the left hand side are swapping around, and there is a car going slowly. Is that Red Sarvio? He is! He has lost the place on Barks and also have lost the place on Tibran, and is now in P6, followed closely by Marcy and also Mr. Debro just behind him. Ooh, and Marcy's trying to go around the outside here, maybe just having a look in case Rails does a mistake, but it doesn't seem the case. Marcy is really looking confident in this condition, and he might have the possibility to make a move going into the straight, and he's trying already to prepare the overtake, taking a little bit of a wider line, and it's now really close. He's gonna turn on the engine, turn on the ERS. Rails is also turning the energy system on, and is trying to overtake Tibran, which is without slipstream. Let's see how it's gonna end up this fight for 5th place. Tibran goes defensive. Rails Sarvios try to get an inside line. He doesn't really manage to get the switchback of Dreams. When Dershark has lost the car, crucially, Dershark has lost the car, and now Simo Pezzi is a long way in front. He has lost it at the start of the first Lesmo. I don't think it was of a contact between the two of them. Dershark, I think, just lost the car there, and is now 8.3 seconds behind the Ferrari, and he needs to reduce this gap at least to 3 seconds if he wants to have a fight for the win, because Simo has a penalty at the moment. There are still 30 laps to go, so anything can happen. Bumax, in the meantime, sitting comfortably in P3. Ten seconds behind Dershark and 3.7 seconds ahead of Barks, who has managed to put a bigger gap between him and Tibran, with 7 tenths. It's now 1.7 seconds. And he needs to continue on this pace if he wants to keep that 4th place, and maybe also aim for something even better. Yellow flag is set to 2. Also, there are many yellow flags, but I don't see any incident whatsoever in this part of the track where we are watching. Exactly here. So let's stay on board with the other Ferrari driver, the one who is not leading, Marcy, number 3rd. I don't think it's number 78, just what maybe he is. Yeah, Marcy, early 30s, German driver John Link in Season 2. And now Tibran is fighting with Rails for P5. Rails is hanging to get that P5 on the very main straight. Rails managed to get the place on Tibran, and the Audi S got a really bad exit, and Marcy is trying to get a position on him, but his way was blocked by the car. Zabishaka has left the session at the moment. Let's see Ooh, and Real Servio completely missed the breaking point at Del Roja, and now he's gonna lose so many places. Marcy now is trying to get a position on Tibron and managed to do so. Mr. Tibro is waiting to pick up the scraps of this battle because now Tibron is trying to go around the outside. Marcy goes down inside and they're going into each other. Marcy lost the car because Tibron tangles the tangles the his left front tire, and so Marcy is out of the race at the moment. Ritz Salvio 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, but that was so unfortunate for Marcy. Was driving really good in this condition and almost went to P5 and now lost the car completely because of an incident with Tibron, and the stewards will surely have a look at that. Sandman says it's a stupid move. I wonder what happened. Sandman has DNF. When Sandman DNF? I don't remember. But let's focus on the action that was on track at the moment. Mr. Debro is following rails around 0.5 of a second behind him. But now he's losing already sometimes here. Already 1 second between the two of them. And now Barks is the one who gets the best out of this fight for P5 among all these drivers, because he's now have a gap of 6.1 seconds. And he has come to the back of Vumax, who is in P3. But he doesn't have the energy to fight him. He has only 20% of energy, which is way too low. But he's gaining on rails. The drivers in P3 and P4 are lapping way so much faster than Rich Starvillo and Mr. Debro. Sorry to hear that, Zabi. Really sad that you don't manage to get the car on your control. Sadly, we don't have the gaps between the top three. Okay, now we have it. Deschark is 14 seconds behind the leader. So he's losing so much time. Simopets is lapping as an armor. Let's see, Vumax is 10 seconds behind and he has a 1 second gap to Barks of the Hood P4. Register Video P5 is just lapping the same speed as the championship leader Mr. Debra. And this will be a very big amount of points for Simopets, 15 points in the bag for him, which will allow him to get a really big jump in the standings. Well, there is a fight between... no, maybe Muma is only letting the other drivers go. Hopefully he's gonna move out of the way also for the Red Bull of Mr. Debro. He is. Fair play to him. Also, let's have a look at Nicolas Boita, who is in P7. I couldn't know that because We couldn't see him. Nicholas is now trying to make a move on Mr. Debro. He's trying to go around the outside of the Red Bull. Here, this car is gonna try to make a move. He brakes late. Is it gonna be late enough? Mr. Debro maintained the place, but now Nicholas has the better traction, but doesn't have the pace to fight him. He got second in Season 1, is now second in the Driver Championship, and he needs some really good points to get back in confidence after very good first few races. And bad last couple of races, but it's really hard to overtake in these conditions. It's really tricky. And he's now trying to go down inside here. He's gonna miss his braking point, locking up both tires, but did manage to make the corner quite nicely, I should say. And now Nicolas Boita is up on to P6, I guess. While Simo Pezzi is lapping the McLaren on Warren, and their shark is now at P2, while the standings on the left hand side are resetting. Mr. Debro is not in P10, he's in P7, I guess. With Nicolas Boita was just overtook him. Yeah, in fact you can tell. Nicolas is shown 14, but he's 6th, while Mr. Debro is 7th. Barks. Nicolas, 3-second time penalty, and this is important because the driver ahead Reels also does have a 3-second time penalty, so if he wants to get the move on the Aston Martin drivers, he needs to fight him on track. But I don't. Ooh, I always, every time I switch drivers, I forget to close the banner. Sorry. Also, let us know if you like the graphics here in the chat. Barks is now 4/10 of a second behind Vumax. He got a really nice traction out there, and he's gonna try to make a move around the outside of the Williams. Is Vumax gonna giving enough space? He is, because Barks is light on the brakes and completely go ahead of Vumax, and is now sitting in P3 but with a 5-second time penalty. So let's see if he's gonna have the pace to create a gap also between him and Vumax to get the podium, because at the moment the two of us have seemed to me to be really close on race pace. But we'll see. There are still 22 laps to go. There is no DRS in this condition because it would be so dangerous. This is a rule the FIA have chosen to apply very soon. When Zabijaka is shown that he's fighting with Nicholas, I wonder if Nicholas is not really he's not really in P6, but he's truly a lap car. Yes, Nicholas will need to provide the fact that with a video clip that he never got lapped by the leader or lost the car in case. Why don't you stay on board a little bit with Warren and the McLaren? He's from Lugano, Switzerland. He's very passionate of the sports of this game, and he's show us to manage to compete in the very high places. A last couple of rounds ago, I think it was Spa, that he put many good performances. So the gaps have now a little bit expanded at the moment. There isn't so much action. So why don't we have a look at the standings at the moment? As we saw before, now Mr. Debro is the one. We can do something cool. We can apply the remote, and also with this visual we can think how the standings will look like, because Simbats with 15 points will go from P14 to around the points of Truckster, who is sitting in P9, that will get 6 points. So it will get a really good jump. Mr. Debro, who is in P6, will get 10 points. 10 points, yeah. Unless, obviously, Nicholas Boita is in the way, but I don't think he is. I think he's legitimately P11. So I think Mr. Debro is legitimately P6. He's on a net P6. So Mr. Debro will get 10 points. Nicholas Boita in P11 will get 5, losing even more ground to the leader. Then we have Der Shark, who will get 14 points and then overtake the Alpine drivers to get P2 in the Drivers' Championship, and also gaining some points on his teammate Mr. Debro. And Barks in P5, which, if he managed to score a podium with 13 points, then we go to 63 and power his teammates Nicholas Boita, which will be a nice effort for the team to get two teammates that are really close on track and also on points in the standings. So Simopets is leading the way, 22 seconds in front of the Red Bull of Der Shark, that didn't manage to to recover after the incident. Maybe he's running with some tiny damage on the front wing. Then we have Barks, currently in P3, who has a 5-second time penalty, but is gaining on Vumax, who is now 3.4 seconds. I think the big threat for Barks is in fact Rails, because he's lapping faster than Vumax, quite a bit faster. Okay, now Nicholas is shown in P6, so maybe now he's fixed. Yeah, in fact he's now shown 6, and maybe he's really on a net P6. I think he is. So finally the graphic is working properly. And we're also really close with Bumax. The fight is going on, and Reels managed to move up into P4. Bumax is following closely, but I don't think he has the speed and also the traction to fight against the Aston Martin. And in fact he's already almost 1 second behind. Let's see if we're gonna have an occasion here, but he's too far away. Really losing so much time, and he decides to go into the pit, so maybe he needs a new set of intermediates to go around. Maybe we're gonna see other drivers fighting with new, sorry, not fighting, going into the pit for a new set of inters. They have been on these tires for 14 laps. Ooh, and actually, some drivers have decided to go to the full wet. They're not. It's not about the the status of the intermediates. It's about the rain that is getting heavier and heavier. You can tell it by it on screen. And now the fact is Vomax really gambling here? He's gaining. Yes, he is. He's already gained 0.3 of a second on Mr. Debro. So let's see if Simopets is gonna box. He's not. He has decided to stay on these intermediates. And so could do my other drivers, because Vomax is not lapping really so much faster, so it may be a gamble to switch to the wets, to the full wet tires. The Richard is waving around the track, trying to get some temperature in those tires. Maybe he's not happy with the compound that he has at the moment. These drivers are really driving so good at the moment. But everyone is on his own fighting. Not really anything, since there aren't some close battle on track at the moment. The only battle that we may see is Nicolas Boita fighting with Real Sarvillo, and this is also a fight with Barks, because he has a 5-second time penalty. They both have 3, but if they manage to get in the 2-second zone, then it's gonna be a fight for the podium, a 3-way fight for the podium. Nicolas is surely gonna try to make a move where he's gonna have the occasion. He does want to always to win the position on the track and going for the overtake. That's sure. And now Reels is close again on Barks. He does have more pace than his, and so does Nicolas, that have more pace than his teammates, who has been sitting P3 all the race, but now he's losing 10th after 10 every corner. And now Reels can see Barks, can see the podium just in front of him, and it's gonna try to make this work. He has a 3-second time penalty, so he's virtually in a podium, but surely I think he wants to gain this place on track, because you never know what is gonna happen. If you're gonna do a mistake, then the chance of getting a podium gets lower. Vomax is actually lapping faster than Mr. Debro at the moment. We should take a look at race director, just so that we can see what is happening with the lap times. Let's see. So Vomax is running with 1:32.9. I don't know why it's showing me only one lap on this wet. And yeah, he's lapping so much faster. He's lapping 2 seconds faster than Mr. Debro. So I think the wets are the right choice, are the correct choice at the moment, because the track is way too wet for the inters, and maybe we're gonna see some drivers pitting. Not Barks, not Rails, but yes, it's Nicolas taking the gamble and going for the wet. If it's a 2-second margin between these two tires, then he's gonna have the chance to get them at the end of the race. We will see. Just give me a second, then I can get a sip of water. also still here on board with Mr. Debro in P5 on his intermediate, and now Nicholas is getting really close. He's getting so much time on the Red Bull driver. The gap is now 10.1, but you can see, we will see by the end of, yeah, already is 9.6 seconds, so the top 5 drivers really need to go on to this full wet compound if they want to have a chance of fighting for the top 3 spots, because Nicholas has gained 2 seconds in a matter of 1 lap, and Barks is not pitting, and so does Wills, so they are still convinced they are on the right choice on the correct compound, and maybe they will have the opportunity to stay in position against Nicholas. Mr. Debro, in fact, has seen the increment of the gap between him and Nicholas and decides to go into the pit to put the full wet tires. And surely now also Barks and Rail Servillo will understand how much these full wet tires are working. This is really an important battle, strategic battle for P3. Poach Road, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. There is a fight here for P3, is between Rails and Barks. These two are fighting for many laps, actually. Let's see if one of these two drivers is gonna box for a new set of tires. Simopats and Dershark still continue with their plans, which is not to go into the pit for a new set of full wet. Maybe they know something that I don't. Maybe the game will get less intense. But Barks goes into the pit, and so does Rails, and is trying to overtake him. The Alpine driver into the pit, almost going into the back of him. Let's see if someone's gonna change the front wing. Maybe Barks. Is Barks changing the front wing? Oh, was discounting the 5-second penalty. So now he's gonna rejoin behind Rails, behind Barks. Behind Nicholas, and also behind Vumax. So Nicholas took the gamble to switch to the full wet tires, listening to the, I guess, to his engineer Jeff. And in fact, now the gamble paid off, because he is now in P3, and I don't know if in 12 laps he has the pace to get to Dershark, which is a 30 seconds gap. But you never know. He will need to gain 1.5 seconds, maybe even more. No, sorry, 2 seconds per lap. Actually 3, yeah, 3 seconds per lap, sorry. Which is way too much. Let's see, Nicholas. He has gained just a couple of tenths, while there is Zabijaka on that side of the track. Park there. So I think these two drivers in the top 2 are comfortably in their position, and even almost having a moment less. Mopets was almost shunting his car into the wall. And now, as I was saying, these two drivers are really comfortable in P1 and P2. They have a massive gap between each other. Also, Dershark, there's a 28 seconds gap on Dershark. We will see, but I don't think Nicholas has the pace to reduce this gap in this tiny margin. Reels is now kind close to Vumax. Now Bash does not have the penalty but does have 9.3 seconds to reduce, and he's losing time on this particular stint on the full wet. .7 seconds for the Alpine driver. Well, the rails has gone really close to Vumax. The fight for P4 is on. Rails does have a 3-second time penalty, so he needs to get the overtake as soon as he can, because in 11 laps he needs to create a margin of 3 seconds. He's trying to go around the outside of the Williams, and is he gonna manage to get this car on the road? Yes, he is, but Vumax managed to switch back the line, and now Rails trying to go around the outside of Lesmo 1, and he managed to do so, and is now back into 4th place. And also Vumax got a 3-second time penalty, which is really helping Rails to consolidating his 4th place. Vumax, let's see if Vumax gonna have the pace to hold the race pace of Rails Terravilla. Savishaka takes 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Completely missed the braking point and cut the chicane probably. Rails gone really deep. He missed the braking point, and now Vumax gonna have a chance here. And De La Rocha chicaning turn 3. Is he gonna have the traction to fight him? He's trying desperately to find a way to get the move done, but Rails use all his energy and manage to get to stay P4, but he's having so much troubles here with the braking, and now Vumax whoops down inside of the Aston Martin. And now Rails got tried the same move again around the outside, but Vumax is just enough ahead to keep 4th place, and so Rails needs to rewrite the overtake once again, and he's trying to do as he has done before around the outside here on this straight, and he managed to get it, and is now back into P4. So a really intense fight between these two, and they're clashing for the highest step after the podium places. Also, the only drivers in top 5 not to took a penalty is Dershak mentioned to him. Really clean driving from the Red Bull driver. But after his incident, he has gone nowhere. And Nicholas is now at 21 seconds behind Dershak, but I don't think that's still enough to get him in 8 laps. Probably is way too much. So why don't we stay on board a bit with the leader? Simopez. has joined back the league in these last 3 races and is dominating these races. He has won both of them and is now looking forward to win the 3rd race in a row here in his home soil in Italy at Monza. Yeah, sure, William. I'm gonna compare these lap times between Dershak and Nicholas. So Dershak is doing high 33s, while Nicholas is doing high 31. So he's gaining around 2 seconds per lap, and with 7 laps to go, he will gain around 14 seconds. That won't be enough to get the Red Bull drivers, but maybe Dershak will suffer problem with the tire wear, and so he will lose some performance on the tires. We will see what he's gonna do. At the moment, 18 seconds in 7 laps looks impossible to get, and also we have to mention the 3-second time penalty that Nicholas has. The powers over to Tibran. Tibran got a really nice start and also a nice stint on the dry, but he's not doing the same in this wet part. He has lost some places, he has dropped down. Well, really drive. Let's see the position changes. So Simopets is the one who has gained more places overall, from P18 to P1, gaining 17 places. Dershak, Nicholas and Reels both gain around the same, 12, 12 and 13 places. Then we have Rumax, Barks and Mr. Debo, who are doing the per 3 position. Rumax has gained 3, Barks has gained 6 and is now sitting P6. And then we have Barks, Mr. Debo, who has gained 9 from P16 up to 7. Finally, Truckster is the last driver who has gained some places from P11 up to P3. Then the other drivers have all lost some places. The Power have lost 2 places, Tibran have lost 7, starting P3 and almost getting fastest overall. Not fastest overall, getting in the very prime position of leading the race. Then we have Warren, who was around P8, P9 fighting for the steps, for this position, and he's now he's in P11, he started 10, P10, so it doesn't really change much. Then you have Muman, who have lost 7 places, and Zabishaka, who was disconnected at the very start of the session and is now last in P13. And Simvets has now gone into the back of Park's Little Hood, who will be lapped in the very next corner. Maybe if Barks is gonna let the Ferrari drive him through. Maybe here in Lesmo 1, and in fact Barks does let Simopets go, even if he's driving on the intermediate, which doesn't look like prime tires at the moment, since Nicholas has gained so much on their shark. And also all the drivers. Where's the fastest lap? Let's have a look at that. It does say Kusapishaka, but this is not the true lap time. The fastest lap overall is held by Simopets, only by 19 milliseconds from Dusher, set at 124.179, while Simovets is at 124.160. So this is the fastest lap that will be awarded to Simopets because the time that Zabijak has is invalid. I'm sorry if you're having some lagging in the stream. Maybe I have some connecting issue that shouldn't really be happening. So 4 laps to go. Simopets leading the way 50 seconds, almost ahead of Durshak. Nicolas Bolter 12 seconds. He has managed to reduce the gap from 20 seconds down to 12, but that won't be enough to do in the last 4 laps of the race. Then we have Real Staravilla and Rumax that were fighting for P4 now. Reels has managed to create a really big gap between the two of them, and sorry for the noise. Then we have Mr. Dibble, a P6, and Barks. The two are fighting, so why don't we go on board with Barks? The two are fighting for P7, and the Alpine driver is within 1 second window of the Red Bull driver, the championship, who is the championship leader at the moment. And it will be also for the next race, sorry. Mr. Dubro didn't really get the best of Del Roger chicane. No, Barks might have some chance here, even if both of them does not have a penalty. Don't have a penalty, sorry. We have only 4 laps to go. We had a really intense fight in the very first part with the track that was dry, then with a wet part, wet circumstances. There were really so many battles also because the DRS was turned off, and so it surely lose some possibility to have fights on track, because obviously the DRS helps so much. That's another 3-second time penalty, but that won't affect too much. He has 9 seconds now, so a virtual gap of 40 seconds, not 49. But that's really not make the difference. Barks goes a little bit too wide. Maybe it's really tricky to drive in this condition also without any reference, because you practice maybe most of the week on a dry scenario, and then to get a wet race, it's really unpredictable. And you need to work your race pace up through the race, during the race. And now Marx is losing some time here in these final laps, and maybe also the chance of getting a P6 finishing. Was really looking to to get the P3 finishing. Also on his intermediates, his stint was really looking good. But now it doesn't see the case on the full wet, and also after the 5 seconds counting on the penalty on the pit stop. So we are on board with the race leader, Simopets, who after at the end of this race, and that most likely gonna win, is gonna also finish the race and get the Mercedes seat, the prime seat on this field. So this is the penultimate time that Simopets is doing the Scar chicane this particular occasion. So from now on till the end of the season we are gonna have only reverse grid races without qualifying. So let's enjoy this last lap on board, not on board, sorry, with the cinematic view from Simopes, number 21 on his car. De La Rocha chicane coming up now at the exit. Then we have the first Lesmo, beautifully done from the Ferrari driver. The second Lesmo, and crucially now the Ascari. And is now waving to finish this race, winning the third race in a row. It's the Ferrari of Simopets that soon is gonna be a Mercedes. Simopets wins the Italian Grand Prix, wins round 7 of the UK SS Vacham Battle Racing League Division 1, and soon later is gonna arrive also Shark, who was 53 seconds off, and completing the podium we will have Nicolas Boita, who got an amazing performance after a very good recover in the second part of the race, and then we will wait for Wills and Vumax to cross the line. So Shark just 3 seconds ahead of Nicholas, so Shark really did a very good work to keep the gap just enough in time and cross the line to get P2. Very important points finishing for Shark, who is gonna get a little bit closer to his teammate who is leading still the championship, Mr. Dibro. And Nicolas Boita completing the podium, Real Saravia coming home to get P4 and Vumax to get P5 very soon. Mr. Dibro P6 has managed to form a gap of 4 seconds to Barks, and now Vumax finish our Italian Grand Prix round 7 here in Monza. And that's the end. Driver of the day, Simopets. I think we can all agree, because he started in P18, but there are many drivers of today also. Nicolas did really a very good job. And that's it. These are the final standings of the Formula 1 Italian Grand Prix of the UK SS Dakar Better Racing League. Simobus, Der Shark, Nicholas, that's our podium. Reels, Vumax, Mr. Dubro, Barks, Truckster, D-Power and Warren completing the top 10. And finally we have Muman, Zabishaka, Thibran, Potro, Marcy, Sandman, Clay, Jules, Stanglefilter and Get the Money Around. So, this is it for UK SS Dakar Better Racing League. This is it for Division 1. Tune in for Division 2 in the next couple of minutes, in 10 minutes. And instead, I'll get you soon. I'll get you in 1 week time for round 8 of UK SS Dakar Better Racing League.